Everyone, and welcome back to Sci-Fi Wire live at New York Comic-Con. How are you guys feeling out there? We have a huge crowd here right now to see our special guests. We have Robert and Racer Rodriguez. Thank you for joining us. How are you guys doing today?
Doing great. It's great to be back to Comic-Con.
Absolutely. Well, I'm really excited because we are here to talk about The Limit, which is a first-person action VR series. But what else can you tell us about it?
Well, it feels like a first. I mean, it's a first-person VR experience that puts you inside of an action film. You are a character alongside with Michelle Rodriguez and Norman Reedus, and we shot it. You know, we try to be as innovative as possible with the technology, and wanted to do something that would really knock people's socks off. Racer got me. You know, Racer was here years and years ago for Shark Boy and Lava Girl. This is Racer, who came up and invented Shark Boy and Lava Girl way back when. And now that he's been getting older, he's the one who told me about VR and how into it he was and how he wanted to tell stories in it, and got me interested in it. And so we decided to do something really kind of cool and innovative to push the technology forward. We always love adopting new technology, whether it's digital or digital 3D, way back in the day before anyone was playing around with it. And VR just seemed ripe for reinvention and doing something exciting that for people who have the headsets, they've got something amazing to watch. And then for those who are early adopters thinking about using it, this gives them another reason to get into it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so cool, though. I mean, where did the story originate? Where did that come from?
So we were working with Michelle Rodriguez on another project. And
Alita Battle Angel, actually.
Yes.
And so we were excited about VR. We had just started our company to do VR together, and we told her, "Hey, why don't you join us? Let's get someone cool into our project and see if someone who would really be wanting to jump into something innovative like this." And that night, she emailed us back with an idea. She said, "Okay, I've got an idea for action VR piece where the viewer follows me as we go through a car chase, jump out of a plane, and then go into urban warfare, firefight." And so we took those 3 sentences and put that on the script and thought, all right, that's the idea. But she also gave us our main guiding idea, which was you, the viewer, co-stars with Michelle Rodriguez. Yeah. And so...
And you know, we love movies, but what this VR allows you to do is to get in and actually feel like you're inside of film, because it has the language of film, it looks like film, sounds like heightened reality of a film, and it's totally different. I mean, if you watch a car chase in a movie, it's exciting, but when you feel like you're actually in there, in a Michelle Rodriguez movie, it's pretty freaking cool. And we didn't know how long you could sustain that energy, but you totally watch it and want to just see more, so it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it is super action-packed, and I'm just curious, what are the challenges of trying to translate something that is so action-packed into a VR experience for an audience?
It was a day-by-day thing. You know, we wrote it really bold, and you got to go real bold. Whenever you start working in a new technology, you have to push it the limit. That's kind of why we came in with the title. It's like, we got to see how far we can go with it, because when you put it in a laboratory, you see that there's a lot of things you probably shouldn't do. And I threw all that out the window, because I think when you're involved in a story, and the story and the character is really great, you will follow it more than you will in a lab, and suddenly you won't care about anything except the story. And it draws you in, and we wrote the story kind of in a clever way to where any limitations that there were in VR became an asset, and we actually drew you into the story more. Because whenever I watched any cinematic VR, I actually felt further away from the movie than into it, because suddenly you were looking around and you weren't really involved in the story or listening to people. This is really hypnotic. This really pulls you in. And so the challenges were really just technically how to do it so that the viewer is with the story the whole time. And incredible things happen. And it's like watching an entire action film in 20 minutes.
That's so cool. Was there any specific stunt or piece of action, I mean, without giving away any spoilers, that you watched after filming and just said, wow, that turned out even cooler than I expected?
Yeah, I mean, what's cool is when you're filming, you have the helmet on, and so you're seeing it piece by piece, but when you put it all together, I mean, just seeing that her start talking to you blows you away because you feel like she's really there because she's such a terrific actress, but you've already gone through heightened experiences with her. You actually feel like you're going through it. But then once you're sitting in a car with her, she's climbing out the window to go take care of some bad guys while you're taking the wheel and someone's crashing through your windshield and you go out the front. I mean, it's crazy. And then you're falling out of a plane with no parachute with her.
Whoa.
It's fun.
Do you have a favorite?
It's pretty much that scene. And
Yeah?
again, we went bold not knowing if any of it would work. We expected to go test and find out on our own without somebody telling us it won't work. That, okay, that won't work, we'll fix that. But we found that pretty much everything crazy, bold thing we wrote did work in VR and felt even better when you watched it in a headset. So
Wow.
that was exciting about all
It really
the scenes.
excited me, like when I first started shooting digital back in 2000 and did the first digital 3D movie in 2003. I mean, no one had done that. And when I first did the first tests and saw it, I thought, oh my God, no one's ever seen this before. It was a really exciting feeling to be on the cutting edge. And that's what this felt like. It felt like that moment, but it was cool as I got to share it with my son and go, isn't that cool? Aren't you glad? I'm glad he told me about VR. I wouldn't have thought, a lot of people wait till it gets better. They're always, and that's how it was back then. Oh, digital, we'll wait till it gets better. But if you adopt it right away, it gets better faster. And so we thought, I bet there's there's amazing things we could do with the equipment that exists right now. If you use it very creatively and innovative with it, you can do something that's really exciting that no one's seen before.
Yeah. And for you, what was it like to work with your father on this ambitious project?
It's not the first time, and I really enjoyed every single time. But on this especially, because we were both going into something that we were both experimenting with. We both, even though we took all his skill set of filmmaking, there was still a lot to invent that we were coming up day by day. So whether it was in the writing or when we were actually there shooting, we were there figuring it out together, and that was what was really fun about the whole project.
Yeah, usually he looks to me for answers when we're trying to do something new because he knows I've been there before.
Yeah.
Well, here it was New Frontier. I look back to him for answers. It was the same with Shark Boy. I mean, I was trying to make a movie for children, and he was a kid. So his ideas were more valid than mine, valid of a kid's ideas of empowerment. Well, with this, it was about VR. You know, he knew it much better than I did. So even while we were scripting it, he would go, yeah, that's probably not going to work, but maybe this will. And so we got to figure out a lot of stuff before we started shooting. But then as we're shooting, I relied on him a lot. In fact, I didn't even know, I couldn't even edit the thing because there's no VR helmet that hooks up to an Avid, so I would have to cut it really wide, email him QuickTime, he would watch it, give me notes, send it back, and I would recut it. So you know you're on the cutting edge when you can't even edit the thing you shot because the equipment isn't up to par yet.
Exactly, that was actually my next question. How do you edit a project like this?
There's some programs that you can edit on that actually let you hook up the helmet. Mine didn't have that plug-in yet. I mean, sometimes you're just too ahead of the curve for certain things. So you gotta just wait till the technology is there or figure out another way to do it. But you can't let that hold you back because you know you wanna always break new ground. The audience looks to people to break new ground and show them something new. So I'm an audience member too. I wanna see something new. And the stuff I had seen before was not impressive. And it's not the fault of the medium, it's just, you know, those that are making stuff for it, they have to push it a lot further.
Yeah, absolutely. What about for you, the editing process? I mean, he was saying that he sent you files for you to review.
Yeah, it was interesting. Editing was actually kind of easy because it was mostly just big, wide shots. But the real challenge from it came from the idea in VR that if I'm looking somewhere and we're panning, and then we cut, and it's not aligned with where I was looking the way in the shot before, I'm suddenly somewhere else, and my focus is on something else. And so focus was where your eyes are, constantly guiding the viewer was something that was really the main focus of editing.
And like one project is all it takes. A really bold project that tests everything just puts you then at the forefront. Now we know exactly what to write. We've actually already written our next thing for VR.
Oh, wow.
Knowing what the true benefits of it are that you can't do in TV and movies, that you could only do in VR. That's the thing about this story. You want to come up with a really great character for Michelle, a great story that you would want to see in a movie or a TV series, but do it in a way that you can only really appreciate it in VR. It has to be exclusively made for that. so that it doesn't work as well just as a movie and a TV show, the way you're telling the story. So that's what we're doing with these other ones. You got to make it just where it goes hand in hand. Otherwise, you'll be wondering, why am I wearing this helmet? I'm just watching TV. You know, it's got to feel like an experience, and it does feel completely like a ride.
Yeah, absolutely. So now we have a little bit of time left for a game we like to play here called Roll for Question. And as you see, we have a D20 sitting there. So go ahead and roll it, and the number is going to correspond with a question that I have.
That's my lucky number.
7?
That is a 7.
All right. So we've seen DeLoreans, police call boxes, high-tech ships. If time travel is real, what are you cruising through time in?
Yeah, the first thing that comes to mind is the Terminator bubble, but did you land in? But then I'd be naked. I was trying to think, what's a better one? What are you cruising through time in?
The Epoch from Chrono Trigger. Big time.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Good.
All right, you want to roll?
14.
14, all right. Let's see. If the power of flight existed, how much of a problem do you think bug swallowing would be?
Flight, gosh, I'm still waiting for my jetpack. I mean, when I was a kid, Johnny Quest, jetpacks, thought for sure by now we'd have those things.
Yeah.
We got such ridiculous stuff, but no jetpacks. I'm still pissed. I wouldn't mind testing that out.
That would be awesome.
Ski mask. That's all good.
Just completely block it. I mean, I think that's probably the best bet. So where can we watch The Limit when it comes out?
What's cool about The Limit is that anyone who has access to a VR, whether it's a high-end or the lowest-end box, it works. So it's not one of those where you have to have a certain system. And we wrote it in a way knowing that the most early adopters probably don't have the fanciest set. If you got a fancy set, it was shot 8K, it looks amazing. But if you have just anything that has a VR ability, the story is written in a way where you will still be pulled into the story because of the character that you are. It all makes sense as to why you're seeing the world that way. So you can watch it, it'll be available everywhere November 20th, that has, from all the different apps, from all the different ways to download. You'll be able to purchase it for a very good price point, and it's very exciting to watch. So I know you guys will dig it.
That is awesome. Well, guys, give a big hand for Robert and Racer Rodriguez.
Thank you for being here.
So awesome. Guys, make sure you stick around because up next we have Watchmen co-creator Dave Gibbons talking about the new TV series. So stay tuned, guys.
Hi, I'm Jackie Jennings with SYFY WIRE. If you can't get enough of New York Comic Con, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel for news, interviews, cosplay, and so much more. What are you waiting for?